Well, as the group stages have come to an end, it's time to do something a little bit different and take stock. And I was lucky enough to sit down for 20 minutes with one of Britain's most eminent football writers, journalists, broadcasters, the doyen of football journalism, Henry Winter, who joined me from his hotel room in Kansas City before he was on his way to an England press conference and to cover the start of these round of 32 games. Now, you may or may not have paid attention to the tagline of this podcast: no pundits, no players, just people. But try as I might to keep us on the fans and the feel of the tournament beyond the football and what's going on the pitch, we couldn't help but dip into a little bit of discussion around the England team, potential, how far they might go. And I even managed to get a little view on Leeds United. So here's the Henry Winter. How are you?
Yeah, good. All good. How are you enjoying it?
I'm enjoying it a lot. Really, really pleasantly surprised, to be honest. I came with a little bit of cynicism about the whole thing, as I think a lot of the chat goes on before these things, doesn't it, about what it might not be or what it could be. And then you get here and you're overwhelmed by just the volumes of people and how much fun they're having and the interaction of the fans. It's been great. But you're the expert. How many have you done of these now?
This is 10.
10? Yeah. How does it compare?
I mean, as you say, it's always the same when you go to these events, particularly World Cups. It's always the negatives going into the tournament. And then the moment Messi gets his first touch, Kane gets his first goal, you see exciting young players. You see Jude Bellingham stepping up as he has. You see Michael Elise starting on the right and then going to central as a playmaker and bewitching opposition defences and bewitching the world. And then you see the Tartan Army taking over Boston, drinking it dry and cones on every statue. All the sort of positives flood forward. So it's always the same with tournaments. Negatives, then positives. Look, there's still issues, as you'll have seen travelling around. You know, the cost, the ticket prices are disgraceful. The hydration, no one really expected the hydration breaks to be such an issue, but there's been denial on FIFA's part on that. But the actual human contact, you know, away from the suits, away from the VIP areas, on the pitch has actually been exceptional.
I think so. I mean, I keep waxing lyrical about it, but it's been truly joyous to be in it and witness it. Has that been always the case over the 10 years, or do you think this has got a specific character about it?
Well, so my first was Italia 90, and that just had a different atmosphere. I mean, the grounds weren't full, but then the Italians are so obsessed with football. You know, every side street you went into, there was a party going on there, and there was a sort of mother with a Mazzola top on or whatever. I mean, it was that was special. This isn't a great soccer country. I mean, I was here in 94, my second World Cup. And obviously it's taken off since then, but it's slightly been a tournament of pockets. You go into pockets. So like Kansas City, when the Argentinians were in town, the Dutch were in town, it was fantastic. And then you can walk down there and it's not quite tumbleweed, but it's not as obsessed as, say, New York, LA, Seattle, other cities, which have more of a sort of like an MLS presence.
Yeah.
Well, what's amazed me, and I'm sure you've seen this, is that everyone's saying, oh my God, there's so many England fans over here. But I would say 2/3 of them are locals who just put England shirts on. And whether that's because they're in love with the Premier League, they like Jude Bellingham, or because they've got English ancestry. I mean, it's a mix, but they're probably about 10,000 hardcore, the 3,009 supporters travel club. And then the rest travelling out. So, I mean, as always, England are amazingly supported.
Yeah. Have you been in Miami yet?
Yeah.
What did you think of that?
Well, we did a couple of games, warm-up games in Florida, Orlando and Fort Worth, but we went to Miami briefly. I mean, Miami's just a brilliant city. I mean, we were based there in Brazil, so with England, and that was fantastic. But yeah, I've enjoyed Dallas. MetLife is a bit of a schlep. It's nothing special at the stadium. I've not been to SoFi, but everyone says that's incredible. Probably done about 15 of the American stadiums over the years. Dallas was probably the best of the ones I've been to so far.
When you're in the press pack or the press corps and you're travelling around and you're on the move regularly, how able are you to get out and about amongst the fan base and the street parties and all the rest of it? Do you get much time for that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's part of the fun.
Yeah.
Partly, I've got a lot of friends who are traveling, you got to I mean, I've been to some of their weddings and been there, at receptions with Coventry City and, flags and Peterborough flags all over the place. So, absolutely, and it's important as a reminder to someone who spends time in press boxes, particularly the press boxes here, which are glassed in, which will cut you off from the
Right.
atmosphere. Just as a reminder, and that, there's some fans who I follow on social media just to get a sort of flavour of what's going on,
Yeah.
and then obviously talk to them, message them. But I also do a lot for, sort of Sky and other people, and they tend to like you on the ground. So you go out of the ground and you're standing in a shopping mall, wherever we were the other night for the 0-0, the boring one. I mean, it was surrounded by fans and it was alive, and I was thinking, "Oh, which chant are they going to sing?" Um, and, fortunately, they held off. So but it's important to get that flavour, and, I mean, I treat the job partly as an opportunity to visit different places as well as meet, different people, plus also
Yeah.
the football, the celebration of the football, and particularly England for me.
And what's your view now versus pre-tournament about the 48 teams and what that's brought or detracted from it all?
Well, I think it's fantastic the 9 out of the 10 African teams have gone through. I think that just shows the strength and sort of heightens their argument of having more representation. I just think it's just too unwieldy. And the problem is, first, it kills qualifying because
Mm.
as you're Italian, it's most people qualify, and secondly, it just is too huge. Also, it limits how many countries can actually host it. I mean, I
Yeah.
cover a lot of the under 21 tournaments, and they're brilliant because they go to Slovakia, they go to sort of, places slightly out of the way, which you've got no chance of hosting a big one. But
Yeah.
it's become a bit of a World Cup in terms of who can actually host it.
Yeah.
Which is a bit. I mean, I guess England could possibly host it on its own, but that's wrong. You want to see. I mean, could an African country host it now? I mean, it would have to be 3 or 4. So yeah, it's a mixture. But we know what's going to happen. It's going to be usual suspects particularly in the semi-finals. I mean, it would be brilliant if Morocco had a run through and got there,
Yeah.
or someone else. But yeah, it's the usual suspects. But look, we know what FIFA are like. It's about money and power.
How does the temperature of it all change now we're getting into this round of 32? Does it feel different around the tournaments in your experience when it gets into the knockout phases?
Well, yeah, because we start asking the players about penalties. It's
Oh
already
God,
done
of
that
course.
majority
Hadn't
thing.
even occurred to me yet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I've covered, 8 shootouts? But look, they've improved under Southgate. Yeah, I mean, look, one mistake and you go home. And the thing is, if you miss a penalty or if you make a mistake with your club, you've got an opportunity to rectify that within a week. If you miss a penalty or you make a mistake with England, so like a Rob Green against America in 2010, a sort of
Yeah.
mistake like that stays with you for the rest of your life. And that is absolutely brutal. So the stakes are higher, the scrutiny is more intense. I mean, I always think of it as this is the moment where I get a call from Radio 4. It's got to that stage of the tournament. It's transcended the sport. Obviously, Wimbledon's on at the moment, so there'll be a reflection on that. And the timing doesn't necessarily help, although this midweek game probably does. I think it's a 5 o'clock UK kickoff, so
Yeah.
that will help. But yeah, look, the heat is on now.
Yeah. Let me test a theory with you because I went to Scotland, Brazil in Miami in the Hard Rock Stadium there, or the Miami Stadium as we're calling it. And I was in the MetLife this Saturday for the England game. And the atmospheres were so different. My theory was partially the rain brought a very sort of really dampened the pre-match atmosphere relative to the heat of Miami. But also because I think England have got a stake in the tournament, it felt more focused, more serious. I felt like I was going to a FA Cup match or a Premier League match in terms of what was going on around the ground rather than the kind of interaction, celebratory vibe of when I've been peripheral on some of the other matches. Is that your experience that the clubs who are in it to win it bring less of the party?
No, well, I would dispute that. I mean, you look at the Argentinians, they bring an amazing amount. The French,
Yeah,
though, I think that's definitely legitimate. I would say that with England, it was some of them were leaving it late because they were staying in New York and then getting out on the New Jersey transits.
yeah,
And I mean, if there were brilliant areas around MetLife, loads of huge fan parks, and they sort of bus people in early and made it cheaper and more accessible and worth actually going there. And as you say, the rain was an issue. It's not a particularly soulful stadium.
No, you're in a car park, aren't you?
You are in a car park. Yeah, I mean, I think, but I wouldn't. I mean, you know what's going to happen with the England fans. They'll take over a stadium and they will be noisy. And what's been funny talking to some of the locals, they're just bowled over by the singing, chanting because they don't have that.
Yeah.
And this is in England without two of their best chants. Phil Foden's on fire and Harry Maguire, whatever he enjoys imbibing. So other soft drinks are available. So and you've got, I mean, you've got obviously Bellingham and St. Bellingham. I quite like Wonderwall at the end. I mean, you can't say that
I was
place
just
like
about to ask you about that. Is that gonna become a new anthem? Because it was an
it's there.
electric moment, wasn't it?
It's there. It's there. It's replaced it. I mean, they've even stopped playing Football's Coming Home afterwards because they know they're going to get Wonderwall. And you could just see it in Kane's faces and all the other players' faces, how much it meant. And it's good that you almost have an anthem for this tournament, and we're not always harking back to Euro 96 and Football's Coming Home, which is a brilliant song, or World in Motion at 90. They're both brilliant songs. But yeah, it's just nice to have Wonderwall.
Yeah, I thought it was a really great moment, and clearly Jude Bellingham was really moved by the whole "Hey Jude"
Yeah,
rendition.
yeah.
It was so loud. He was really affected by that, I thought.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he's England's most important player. I mean, for me, it's difficult with Kane because he's captain and he's best supplier of goals, source of goals. But Jude is so important. We're just trying to get Tuchel to say nice things about him.
Is that not just all part of the ruse? Is that not his little,
I right.
way of firing up?
But sorry, if that can only work for so long, it's like sort of having a stroppy child and always turning the Wi-Fi off. It sort of runs its course after a bit. I don't know. I just think it's weird.
Isn't that Mourinho's career?
Yeah, a little bit, but he moves around from club to club. This is really important that he gets this right. And
Yeah,
I mean, you'd have to ask Bellingham, but I can't imagine he enjoys it. You know,
yeah,
just come out and say what a player he is. And look, he's not huge praising individual players anyway. But for heaven's sake, the kid, well, he's 23 today. Give him some love.
yeah. Well, you've been at the heart of seeing all these different generational cultures in the England team. Have you watched Dear England?
I haven't because for a very simple thing, I'm working with Gareth Southgate at the moment. In fact, I had
Yeah,
an hour Zoom with him this morning and some other people. And sort of out of respect for him, I haven't. I mean, some people, really like it. I also found from the clip I saw the characterization of Harry Kane offensive, taking the mickey out of someone's voice. I mean, I thought, well, hang on a sec.
yeah,
Given what Harry's done for his country, I thought it was a bit cheap. But everyone says Josephine's impression is sensational.
yeah.
To be honest, I'd rather look at the real thing.
Yeah, of course. I remember I haven't seen the TV show either. I saw the stage play early doors in its incarnation. I was listening to an interview with James Graham, the playwright, this week. Just
Yeah.
it's so effusive in the praise for what Gareth Southgate has done culturally, way beyond football. You sort of witnessed that first time. You're spending time with him now. How much of that is staying on and will feed into this squad and the culture going forward, do you think?
Tuchel wouldn't be able to do what he's doing now without Southgate.
Yeah,
Southgate completely changed things. I mean, you were probably there in Nice. I mean, it was absolutely miserable. Breakdown between players and fans. Fans turned their back. Then we had Hodgson left. Allardyce came in, had his pint of wine, then left. And Southgate picked up the pieces and he rebuilt a very dysfunctional family. He rebuilt the relations. First thing he did was rebuild the relations between the dressing room and the press.
yeah,
And of course, and we're just conduits towards to the fans. So that relationship was rebuilt. Players told their stories to each other, to us, and this is a generation which wears its heart on its sleeve. You see it on social media. You see it when they talk, and I think it's really important. Danny Rose came out and spoke very powerfully before Russia about the mental health issues that he'd gone through. And I think what Southgate did in that very sort of human, quiet, understated way of his was just remind us that players aren't robots. They may be athletes, they may be superhuman and wealthy mini brands, but they're also human beings. And I think you're seeing that in the squad now that Tuchel has inherited, with huge work by Lee Carsley as well with the under-21s. I mean, I cover the
Mm,
under-21s, and it's no surprise that Elliot Anderson and players like that, Joel Kwanzaa, good people, as well as very good players, have stepped up. So yeah, Tuchel's come at the right time. I mean, personally, I think it will go out in the quarterfinals. I hope I'm wrong,
to you.
but I think that the Euros is very gettable.
Right. Well, I'm going to be in Mexico in the Azteca for what I hope will be a Mexico-England round of 16 game. Are you heading down there?
Yeah, yeah. Got to get through this one first.
Yeah, I know. Well, give me a bit of a sort of taster of what I can expect in Mexico and that stadium, that iconic stadium.
I've never been to the Azteca, which is one of the reasons I
Oh,
want to
God.
go. It's
You must be excited as well.
yeah, I mean that and the Bombonera are sort of the two big ones around the world I've not been to. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to take my oxygen tank. Everyone's sort of talking up the altitude.
Yeah.
You know, we've got some very fit players. We've got one or two who aren't so fit, like Saka, but I think they've got a chance. It's not a great Mexico side, but you know, let's get past Wissa. Let's go. I mean, I don't look beyond a corner, a penalty, a throw in with England. I mean, I've done, I don't know, 400 of their 1,200 matches. You know, you learn from painful experience not to think too far ahead.
Yeah. I've said this podcast is not about punditry, but I haven't seen the DR Congo play yet. I mean, I've met some of their fans out and about. What can we expect from them?
They've got some good players. I mean, you look at Wissa. I mean, the problem is, you know, he will have a point to prove against the English media, against against the English, because there's been this sort of doubt over him as it worked out with Newcastle, and he's be incredibly passionate to play for his country. So they'll be difficult. Whether it's a low block or a mid block, they'll defend in numbers. They'll be incredibly organised, and they'll hit on the break, and they'll have an athleticism and a dynamism and a determination. And England have got to match that. And we saw it'll be different with Declan Rice coming back into midfield alongside Elliot Anderson and Jude Bellingham. But it will be, you know, we can't be as open as this is how embedded you become. England
Yeah.
can't be as open as in the last game in midfield.
And I know you're getting off to the England press conference soon, but you know, as a Leeds fan, give me a scoop, Henry. What's your perception as a
Well, the whole place
outsider
is
on the
full of
Leeds fan?
ex-Leeds managers. I mean, you know, look at Jesse Marsh.
Yeah.
Thomas, I mean, I was at Thomas Christensen's press conference the other day, and he was asked about Leeds, and you know, he was only there 35 odd games, and then of course the great Bielsa. I'm sure
Yeah.
you would have him back at some point. Leeds are a special club, and look, Leeds will have scouts out here looking at players without a shadow of doubt. I mean, it's a big cattle market as well as a big football competition. So, but look, what a good season you had. You stayed up, which a lot of people thought you'd go down.
Yeah. So we need a keeper and a striker. Any good keepers you've seen on the road?
Well, they are, but they're all 40. So,
With more social media followers now than
unbelievable. He went from
fantasy
what?
football points.
Vozzini, he went from what, sort of 55,000 or something to sort of 5 million. It's brilliant, but that's also what the World Cup's about. You know, it's been 40 odd years to become an overnight sensation. That's wonderful. There always has to be a chance to dream for fans, for players, for coaches.
Yeah. And so this America Cup finally, you know, what do you think the legacy is shaping up to be of it as a tournament? I mean, you mentioned Italian Night. That's my first real proper memory, really, is watching that, and it's got a big part in my heart. And I just remember the towel and the mascot and all the rest. So what do you think this is shaping up to be in the big pantheon of the World Cups?
I mean, it'll be defined by how well England do.
Yeah.
You know, if England go out and play the next two rounds, it will be Tuchel out, Bullingham out, FA out, everyone out. It will just be root branch reform. What we're going wrong? Are there too many foreigners in the Premier League? It'll be a mayhem. I mean, you can almost write it already. But then there is that chance, dare to dream. I quite like Tuchel's expression, dare to dream. I think that's the right approach because there's no arrogance in it. It's just we can believe. You know, you look around the dressing room, we've got some good players. I think the legacy will be front foot football, less tippy tappy, always building out from the back, more get it forward. I hope the ultimate legacy will be an improvement in refereeing standards in England. Because you look at the referees here, they're letting a lot go, which is great. There's less VAR intervention, or if it is in the background, it's very discreet. And okay, there are one or two mistakes, but everyone's getting on with it. And the referees aren't falling for the simulation and the sort of the tumble tots. And I think that's great. So I hope PGMO will look and learn from that and say, not everything has to be forensic. I mean, I can't remember too many delays. We've had more delays for players to go over to the touchline and get a sponsored drink and look at Pochettino's iPad than there has been for VAR delays, from what I can see. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
I think that will be one of the benefits. So, yeah, style of football and style of refereeing.
Will the leagues be able to resist these hydration breaks, Henry? Or are they coming in ultimately?
Under Ofcom rules, you can't at the moment. But I would have thought that, yeah, they'll be there. They'll be there soon. I mean, it's money. You know, you look at what money
Yeah.
Fox TV are making out of it. I would be. It'll probably be from the next TV deal, so a couple of years. I think if I'm Sky, I'm going to say, well, I want more halftime interviews. I want more this and that. I actually want, the assistant coach. I want an Anthony Barry type to come out and spill the beans about what he thinks of the first half. I think we'll get a little bit more of that. But the more American owners you've got in the Premier League, the more you're going to get that Americanization. Call it what you want anyway. So,
Yeah. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Really good to take time.
absolute pleasure. If you need any more, just give me a shout.
Great.
All
Have
right.
a great time.
Yeah. See you in Mexico.
Brilliant. Really enjoyed that. So nice to get the opportunity to chat to Henry and get his insight. 10 World Cups. Wow. I need to put him together with that fan I met on the way out of the England match against Panama at the MetLife, and they could compare notes. Henry really is an amazing writer and journalist. He's ghostwritten the autobiographies of Stephen Gerrard, Kenny Dalglish, John Barnes. You might detect a theme there if you're unsure as to his club allegiances. And he pops up on almost every major sporting outlet: Sky Sports, 5 Live, Radio 4, all the big sports channels. And if you want to follow Henry's podcast, you probably do already. The Winterview with Henry Winter and the Football Boardroom, where he regularly co-hosts that, along with Christian Perslow and various other podcasts and TV outlets. So thanks again to Henry. I'm still in New York, and today it's all about hunting down some Dutch fans. I want to be part of that orange wave. See you next time.